detriments to academic pressure. Across the nation, around this time of year, high school students are under immense pressure to do well not only in school, but also to pursue extracurricular activities and maintain a healthy and social life. In 2018, the Centers for Disease Control, better known as the CDC, reported that the suicide rate among US youth ages 10 to 17 had increased by 70% between 2006 and 2016. The CDC accrediting this crisis to the academic pressure placed upon students. Horrifying statistics like these raise the question, how can academic pressure be detrimental to high school students? Begging the solution of the need that schools should be liable for the well-being of their students, and they need to delay the start times of school. School has become more competitive due to the sheer numbers of students trying to get into these top-tier colleges. This year, high school students broke the previous record with more than 1.5 million applicants submitted by the November 1st early deadline, a spike that marked a 20% increase from 2016. My question relates back to the stimulus through the article written by the CEO of the College Board, David Coleman, and the song written by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. The article, There's More to College Than Getting Into College, presented by The Atlantic, addresses the unnecessary stress students endure during school. And in the song, 10,000 Hours, Macklemore states that he got 980 on his SAT. These lyrics resemble how the SATs are so tightly intertwined and woven into our system, and it almost cost him his whole success. Though there are many causes for academic pressure, according to a Harvard Health Journal, the main ones include that students feel pressured to get into elite colleges, parents pressure them to get good grades, the fear of getting rejected by colleges, trying to have a perfect college application, pursuing activities without interest because colleges recommend it, along with standardized testing. Academic pressure has been the top complaint among high school students seeking mental health services, noted the Chronicle for Higher Education. In 2001, the No Child Left Behind Act was signed, which basically enforced high-stakes testing, standardized testing across all public schools in America. Now in kindergarten, instead of learning your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, students are asked to write complete sentences in timed tests. Hours spent in art, music, physical education, and recess were now limited or eliminated. A new study by the Society for Research in Child Development finds that when students experience academic setbacks such as a bad grade or bad test score, the amount of cortisol in their bodies typically spikes. For some students, it drops back to normal levels the very next day, but for some, and many, it remains high for maybe even a week. These students remain fixated on that setback, and they find themselves struggling to overcome it and move on to the future. Cortisol is the hormone associated with academic pressure, or not necessarily academic, but stress in general. Higher levels of cortisol relates to high blood pressure, increased thirst, urinating more frequently, osteoporosis, and rapid gain in weight in the face and abdomen. Though academic stress is bad and gets a negative view, in some very limited cases, stress can be good. Cortisol, which is increased when you have stress, increases blood sugar, metabolism, and memory functioning, providing a temporary boost in physical and cognitive abilities. Positive stress, called eustress, can be a positive motivation and helps with decision making, helping students achieve goals. This evidence pulled from a West Liberty University study is accurate, but according to the University of Michigan, the type of stress involved in school is not positive stress. It is not eustress. The type of stress involved in school is called episodic acute stress. Episodic acute stress leads to high cortisol levels, which impairs the brain functionality and suppresses the immune system, causing long-term damage. During childhood, the neural circuits for dealing with stress are malleable, and episodic acute stress can rewire the brain to become overly reactive when faced with threats or problems involving stress, according to an Ohio State University journal called Excessive Stress Disrupts the Architecture of Developing Brain. Researchers from Columbia University conducted a study on students from Trinity Academy, which is a very competitive and selective high school. Every student gave a sample of their saliva every day for 2 weeks. Meanwhile, samples of saliva were also being taken from a local public high school that had a less pressuring environment. When the samples were brought into a lab, scientists found that the cortisol levels of the students from Trinity Academy were tripled those of the public high school. This study proves that the immense pressure of school can negatively affect one's body. So far, the only legislation regarding the reduction of pressure in school is the Teacher and Student Health and Wellness Act. The issue with this act is that it misses the bullseye in the sense that it directly states the matters of emotional states of teachers, students, staff, and all affiliations are not the responsibility of the district. This most nearly means that if the district of a school does not want to address a problem like suicide and sickness due to academic stress, they simply don't have to. This legislation needs to hold schools accountable and liable for their students to create a supporting environment and community rather than a pressuring community. Along with this, the American Psychological Association recommended all middle school and high school students to start their school day at 8:30 a.m. Currently, only 15% of these schools meet this recommendation. By establishing such laws and regulations, the pressure in school would reduce dramatically. The current education system, consisting of high academic pressure, displays many issues. As students are challenged to compete with one another for spots in top-ranked colleges, they are sacrificing their mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Minimizing this pressure, without a doubt, requires federal involvement to enact bills holding schools liable for their students' health and well-being, and also to delay the start times of students' school day. Through a gradual process, the government can help with the health of these students facing immense pressure while still maintaining a competitive atmosphere. Thank you.